A Frenchman won the right to not be fun at his workplace. A man was arrested after a Thanksgiving Monopoly game got violent. And every monk in a Thai temple tested positive for meth. These are the weird stories for Tuesday on Weird AF News, the only daily weird news podcast hosted by a comedian, which means, despite me being under the weather, I think some of this might be funny, some of it. Well, you be the judge. A French man wins the right to not be fun at his work. France's highest court has just ruled that an individual fired by a consulting firm based out of Paris for allegedly failing to be fun at the workplace was wrongfully dismissed. Yeah, you shouldn't fire someone for not being fun at the workplace. Fun should be optional. In my country, it's really not embraced, the whole fun at the workplace, really. You can't have a lot of fun at the office. They want you to work, yeah. You can't flirt. You can't get high on your lunch break. I mean, it's kind of lame. Unless you work at, like, Facebook, they let you have all kinds of fun. I heard you can ride a Segway around and drink beer at your desk. That sounds wonderful. But again, fun should be optional. I got fired for having too much fun. Not fired, but I definitely was sent home for being too fun at an office job I had. Here's what I did. You judge for yourself. I stole a life-size cardboard cutout of Bill Belichick from the lobby of a Dunkin' Donuts down the street from the office, and then I drove it over to work and I put it next to my desk. I thought this would raise employee morale, but the manager didn't agree, and I had to go home. I did get to keep the cutout of Bill Belichick, though. I brought it home. Now, this Parisian man that was fired for not having fun is referred to in the court documents as Mr. T in order to remain anonymous, which is a very poor name for someone trying to be anonymous because now this Parisian man who was fired for not having any fun at the workplace is referred to in the court documents simply as Mr. T in order to maintain anonymity. Well, Mr. T is a poor choice, though, because I'm going to picture a man in a mohawk that doesn't want to have fun at an office. Mr. T was fired from Cubic Partners after refusing to take part in some seminars and some weekend social events that his lawyers and coworkers said, according to the documents, included excessive alcoholism and promiscuity. Well, yeah, I assume it's promiscuity and alcohol. This is a French corporation, after all. They just get down over there in France. I assume everyone's having orgies on their lunch break over at the Paris businesses, right? Mr. T has argued that the fun culture in his company involved humiliating and intrusive practices, including, well, get this, mock sexual acts, crude nicknames, and obliging him to share his bed with another employee during work functions. Oh, they were trying to force him to have some fun. Mock sexual acts and sleeping with other employees. Oh, this would give someone PTSD, office PTSD. Now, the courts sort of ruled in his favor, it says here. Now, the highest court in Paris ruled in Mr. T's favor, saying that the man with the mohawk was actually entitled to his own freedom of expression, and that refusing to participate in social activities was a fundamental freedom under the labor and human rights laws, and not grounds for his dismissal. I assume they'll also allow him to wear all those gold chains as well at the office, because that's probably freedom of expression. Mr. T is going to do that. Says here that Cubic Partners, Mr. T's former employer, did not immediately respond. Cubic Partners, Mr. T's former employer, did not immediately respond to a request from the media. Mr. T responded by saying, "I pity the fool who makes me sleep with an employee." This is not the first time a company's drinking culture has come under the microscope in court proceedings. Oh, a number of recent incidents have actually highlighted the entrenchment of alcohol in white-collar professional culture. Even after the Me Too movement shed a spotlight on workplace misconduct globally, some firms have introduced booze chaperones at company events in hopes of avoiding such issues. They hire a booze chaperone. What, to hand out condoms? To make sure you don't inappropriately touch others. Well, what happens if you get the chaperone wasted, huh? Now what? Come on now. Poor Mr. T now has to sing karaoke in his underwear? Jeez.
Yay!
A Thanksgiving Monopoly game turned violent. Tulsa, Oklahoma. The Tulsa Police Department had to arrest a man on Thanksgiving after they say a family game of Monopoly turned very violent. And there was gunfire. Well, Thanksgiving's hard, guys, you know. You got those relatives you don't really get along with. Shots can be fired. Gravy can be thrown. Have you ever been hit in the chin with a dab of jellied cranberry sauce? Ooh, it can really go south on Thanksgiving. And then, of course, there's the family game, the post-Thanksgiving competition, whatever it might be. When I was a child, we liked to drink PBRs and play lawn darts in the backyard. Hardly anyone got killed. It was a lovely time back then. Maybe you want to have a snowball fight because you live in a cold place. Perhaps you want to just bust out the old Monopoly board. Well, you know, some people take Monopoly very seriously. Maybe somebody in your family takes Monopoly very seriously. I, in fact, took Monopoly very serious. And sometimes I'd get extremely angry. Never a fight broke out, but people sometimes play Monopoly in such an insidious way, don't they? It's like you have two of the greens, right? You just need that third to start building houses. Someone else has it. They don't want to sell it to you. You're like, what are you going to do with that third green? It's doing you no good over there. You're charging $22 on rent when someone lands on it? That's doing nothing for you. Nothing for you in the long run. Better to take this $450 I'm offering you and hand over the green so I can start construction, my construction business. I can contact the contractor. No, of course, they're going to hang on to it until they get into some kind of debt, and then you got to buy it off them. Usually you get a discount, which is nice. But meanwhile, all that time has gone by. You could have built houses. You could have built some hotels. You could have been swimming in some real estate right there. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I tend to take Monopoly a little seriously, is what I'm trying to say. And I can understand a fight breaking out. I can't understand a gun being pulled. This is what happened. The police were called to shots fired near Admiral and Mingo just before 6:30 p.m. This is the post-Thanksgiving boozy board game. You know that. They've probably had a few hot toddies or spiked eggnogs in them. The caller identified the suspect as John Armstrong. Doesn't say the relation to the caller. The caller was a female. She says that John Armstrong chased her and her father and fired shots at them. When the police arrived, they immediately took Mr. Armstrong into Thanksgiving custody, where he will not be given any gravy nor cranberry sauce. He will not pass go. He will not collect $200. Investigators later learned that while playing Monopoly, the entire family had been drinking copious amounts of alcohol. That was when the fight broke out between Armstrong and the stepfather. After knocking over the board game and turning over some furniture, they were told to take the fight outside. And that's when, bling, blang, bloom, Armstrong pulled out a gun after getting cut in the head. Cut by what? That little doggy? And chased his stepfather and stepsister down the street, pointing the gun at them. He told the police he fired one shot at the ground. I only fired one shot and at the ground. It's Thanksgiving after all. I don't fire at relatives on Thanksgiving. I mean, not near them. Maybe at their feet. Well, you know, this story is very important because it lets you know that your Thanksgiving wasn't so bad. You know? I mean, perhaps you had an argument with a stepsister. At least guns weren't pulled. At least shots weren't fired at feet, you know? Here I am making you feel good about your crappy Thanksgiving. You're welcome. You like podcasts? You're listening to my podcast. Maybe you thought to yourself, I'd like to make a podcast. Too difficult. No, not with Anchor. Anchor has free creation tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast from your phone or your computer. Anchor distributes your podcast to Apple, Spotify, Stitcher, and more. They have advertising integration, so you can even make a little money off your podcast. Everything you need to make a podcast in one place. Download the free Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started. And good luck with your podcast. Good luck with your creation. Good luck with your life, man. Every monk in a Thai temple tested positive for methamphetamines. A Buddhist temple in central Thailand has been left without any monks. After all of its holy men have failed drug tests, they were defrocked, according to local officials. 4 monks, including an abbot at a temple in Fetchabun. Fetchabun? That's a funny name for a place. Hey, why don't you fetch a bun? I already got the buns. Hey, we're good. We don't have to fetch any buns. All right. Fetch a bun. Fetch a boon. Fetch a boom boom down. Meth monk. It's so I fetch a boom boom down. That's a song I just made up called Meth Monk. Okay, this is in the Bang Sam Fan district. Wow, so many funny names over there. Really, a great place to get dad jokes. All right, so these monks tested positive for methamphetamine yesterday, according to the district official, who has an amazing name, Boonlert Thintapai. Boonlert. Amazing. The monks have been sent to a health clinic to undergo drug rehabilitation. Sure, of course. Got to get these monks sober. How did this happen? How are monks addicted to meth? Well, you do have to stay up all those long hours and meditate. So hard to stay awake. It's very boring meditating. That's why tea was such a popular thing with monks, because they had to stay awake. You understand that? A little tea for that. The temple is now empty of monks, it says here, and nearby villagers are concerned they cannot do any merit making. Merit making? What is that, you're asking? I'm glad you asked. I have the answer. Merit making involves worshippers donating food to the monks as a good deed. Well, I'm sure there's some homeless, hungry people in your area you can donate food to. That's a good deed, right? That might be merit making. How about that? How about you give money away? Give alms. Don't they call them alms? ALMS? Now, they asked Boonlert what to do about this. Boonlert says more monks are going to be sent to the temple. Don't worry. They will be sent specifically to allow villagers to practice their religious obligations, of course, which includes merit making. It's nice to do some merit making around the holiday season, isn't it? Thailand is a major transit country for methamphetamine flooding in from Myanmar's Trouble Shan state via Laos. That was a mouthful right there. Basically, Thailand is a major transit for methamphetamine. I had no idea. That's how it ends up in the monks' temples. Gotta be, right? On the street, meth pills are called yaba. They sell for less than 20 baht, which is about 50 cents. 50 cents for meth pills in Thailand? That's amazing. Wow, I would get so much work done in Thailand. I got a script I need to finish. Where are my yaba pills? It says here, methamphetamine, particularly yaba pills, can be easily found in every corner of Thailand. Supply is up everywhere, and at this point, a tablet is cheaper than a beer. That's incredible. I had no clue that you could get methamphetamine for this cheap. Authorities across Southeast Asia and around the globe have made record meth seizures in recent months as well. Okay, then they're giving you some history on the recent tonnage. The tonnage of meth that's been seized. A lot of it. But what about the monks? How do monks get addicted? I mean, the article doesn't give any information about that, the personal lives of these monks, and if this is found to be common in other temples around Thailand. I guess we can only just imagine what it would take. Obviously, it's proof that drugs are penetrating all levels of life in these countries. So it penetrates all levels of life in our own country. I wouldn't be surprised if you told me that, priests in the U.S. were addicted to some chemicals. I wouldn't be surprised at all. Yeah, definitely a weird world we're living in, where you have to drug test your clergy. Drug test your religious leaders. That's right. It's very important. Well, for these monks, they can always go practice in Florida. I don't think anybody's going to mind religious leaders on meth in Florida. Everybody's on meth in Florida, right? Even the bus drivers. I gotta finish my route, man. I'm just trying to finish my route, man. I am so sorry, my loyal listeners, that my voice is still messed up like this. Yeah, perhaps I should not be doing the podcast, but I feel compelled to do so. Yeah, I don't even have the energy, but with enough cold brew, anything is possible, guys. Don't give up your dreams. And if your dreams seem out of reach, just up the caffeine content in your beverages. That seems to help. Or get yourself those Yaba pills, bro. 50 cents. 50 cents. You'll clean the house. I guess I should make a disclaimer. Weird AF News does not condone the incorporation of meth pills into your life. So, no. Not on a regular anyways. Of course, if you're vacationing in Thailand, hey, what's wrong with an all-nighter here and there? Hey, come on now. Those Thai ladies aren't going to dance with themselves, all right? We got to make it happen. Oh, man, I'm probably going to hell. Anyways, it's fine. It's fine. I actually would open my arms to hell right now. That's how bad I feel. I have shows all week, too, and I really need to get this together. It's so annoying. Aren't colds annoying at this point? Well, thankfully it's not COVID. Anyways, if you guys would like to make me feel better, you just, donate to the Patreon. Join the Patreon. Donate to my coffee fund. It's pretty cool. Do that for the holidays. Don't you want to get into heaven? Yeah, you do. Of course you do. What, are you going to listen to a 5-day-a-week free podcast forever and not give anything towards it? I mean, you think the pearly gates are going to open up for someone like that? You're out of your mind. All right, do the right thing. Join the Patreon for the holidays, my friends. Patreon.com/WeirdAFNews, or go to WeirdAFNews.com and click on the Patreon banner. You get, in addition to getting into heaven, you also get additional media that I put in there. I put a lot of stuff in the Patreon. For instance, today I put 2 videos and an article. I'm always putting stuff in there, guys. Clips of my stand-up comedy. Don't you want to see that? Yeah, maybe not. Maybe you don't want more of me. Well, you still get into heaven, so that's pretty cool. I mean, if there isn't a better argument than that. Now, while I'm ill, I'm watching a lot of streaming stuff, mostly movies. So if you have any suggestions for anything weird, I'm into the weird stuff, as you know. What did I watch last night? It was an animated film. It was Dante's Inferno, where Dante has to go through the circles of hell to get his Beatrice. Have you seen this? Pretty wild, man. Pretty gory. I believe it's historically accurate, right? It's I think it's definitely based off the book, sort of. I think there is Virgil. Virgil was in the actual book and is in this as well. But man, Dante killed Karen, the ferry boat. The ferry boat dude who takes you across the river Styx. I wasn't expecting that. Sorry, that's a spoiler alert. You guys are Dante kills Karen. No clue that was even a thing. All right, so anyways, as you can see, I'm out of my mind. So my email's funnyjones@gmail.com, or call the show 646-450-2012. I hope you find my rants and ramblings permissible. Even if you don't, they're going to happen. They're like the weather. They're coming.